Hi, I am live today telling you about a new Bible study that we have starting. It's for the spring semester and it starts tonight for our online section. This study is a survey of church history and it's called The Church's Story. And this study works a little differently from the other studies that I have posted on the channel. So, this time we're going to use a licensed video series from Professor Keith Stanglin at the Center for Christian Studies, and he is an expert on church history. And so, the way that we're doing this study is that we're convening via Zoom and watching that video, and then I'll be leading a live discussion on the topic of each week, church history. And you can join anyone, all of my YouTube subscribers, anyone who would like to join is welcome. But you have to register by going to deannamunger.com and contacting me there so that I can send you the login information, the Zoom information. This is a really great opportunity. Dr. Stanglin was one of my professors when I got my master's in theology, church history class, and I learned so much. I was so surprised because history is not my strong suit, and I knew I needed to get some context in church history, and I expected to get the information. But the class really surprised me because I got so much more than just that historical progression of events. I really gained a much better understanding of doctrine because doctrine all developed in real situations with people who are interacting with their own questions, with other people's questions, with political situations, with heresies. And so, as all of those situations came together in church history, that's how the church said, "Oh, we need to clarify this doctrine. This is what this means. This is how the apostles interpret these passages, and that's how we should interpret them." You know, the story is a part of the understanding of the doctrines themselves, and I just didn't fully grasp that when I was first doing, like, an intro to theology class and learning, all of these lists of doctrines and what they mean, and this one means this, and it's opposed to this other opinion, which means this. Well, hearing about the people who brought those forward and said, "We need to think about this question," that just brought everything to life. So I got a much better understanding of doctrine from church history. The other thing is, we have so many, it seems like almost an infinite number of different church traditions. And by traditions, I'm talking about everything from the Roman Catholic Church to your local Baptist church. So each one of those is what I'm referring to as a tradition. The Presbyterian Church, the Lutheran Church. Within greater Christianity, there are all of these different church traditions. Well, how did that happen? Why did it happen? And what is the story of that development and the proliferation? Um, and why do those different branches of the greater Christian church, why do they matter, and why do they matter to the people who broke off at the time that they broke off? Well, that really came out of church history as well. So I got a much better understanding of sort of the landscape of Christian churches from church history. I also will say met, metaphorically, a lot of writers, authors of fundamental Christian writings from over the centuries. There are beautiful works by all of these historical Christians that are beneficial for us to read and contain great wisdom and perspective on the church. But I didn't know um, any of those church fathers, any of those theologians or saints. Because I just hadn't, I didn't have any background in these historical writing. I didn't have any background in these historical writings, and so having learned where each of these came in, what was their sort of theological situation, where did they fall in the history of the church, what issues were they addressing, and so that context allowed me to read these really beautiful, important, and beneficial Christian writings from over the years. So that might be Irenaeus or Origen. It might be Saint Augustine or Augustine. Um, the Francis of Assisi. You go through the centuries. I was trying to kind of go in chronological order, but I should have made a list if I wanted to do that. So through the centuries, there are all of these authors, and being able to read them and knowing who they are and how to approach them was really beneficial. So it opened up a rich tradition of historical writings to me. And then the final thing that I thought was so compelling about my church history class, and especially, I mentioned the broad canvas of all of these different church traditions that we have today. And sometimes it can seem daunting or even discouraging that we have these divisions. And yet, looking at the history of the church, I learned how uh, unified we are in the key understandings of what makes Christian a Christian. So that there really is a core of belief and practice that unifies all of these traditions over the centuries and over the different denominations that we have now, so that like there is um, a central core of belief that's common across the universal church, and that was very encouraging to me as well. So I hope that you will think about joining us. I will be videotaping our discussions and I'll be posting them, but the videos themselves with Dr. Stanglin's instructions are something we've purchased a license for to share in this class, and I have a certain number of spots in that license, and I have some available. So if you want to join this class, please contact me, deannanemanga.com, and we'll get you involved in learning about church history and discussing it with other enthusiastic learners as well. Thanks and have a great day.